What's special about this house?
Well, it's a Greene and Greene, the prominent architects in the arts and crafts movement. One of my favorite architects, a pair of architects, and the opportunity to work on an actual Greene and Greene house was, sort of a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Greene and Greene architects built this back in the early 1900s, and it was quite a privilege to be able to work on a project to this scale as well as the history behind it.
It was early on in their career when they were just developing the architectural language that they used in some of their more famous houses. It's a significant project by significant architects. So what I tried to do is to think about how the Greenes would have approached this had the clients come back to them, 10, 15 years after they originally built the house. What would Charles and Henry have done to the house? I tried to look at the elements that they included on later houses, things that they were doing at the high point of their career, what they're known for, the Gamble house, the Blacker house, and introduce some of those elements in a manner that is not out of place with one of their earlier works.
Keep in mind, when we got here to this project, it was obviously quite old, quite dilapidated. It was a beautiful home still, but literally we make the joke of when we were inside, we could actually hear the outside of the building whistling when the wind blew. On this particular project, there's not a stone unturned. Everything from sidewalks, approach, yard, trees, shingles, inside, outside, foundation, everything was touched on this project. We came in here with the idea of trying to preserve as much of this house as possible. So we went through and we kept every piece of board, every piece of lumber that we could. We reconditioned it and then reinstalled it back in place.
We had craftsmen coming in to reproduce, fixtures and furniture like the Greenes would have done. It's really all designed as a piece. One of the things our clients wanted us to do was design an appropriate landscape for the house. So we took other elements from Greene and Greene's work, like the wall I'm sitting on and the stone columns and the pergolas, and added them to the project to frame and enhance the house on the site.
In the middle of the courtyard, you have this spa, but the idea of the spa was to kind of keep it very organic feeling, almost as if it was more of a little pond or a fish pond, but the fact is it's actually a jacuzzi. The color of the shingles is something that Bill Baldwin is quite proud of. We were trying to come up with this color scheme, and again, the idea behind that is to preserve what Greene and Greene had done, and part of that is actually going back to as close to the original colors, if not the exact original colors as possible. In the back room, we found some shingles back there that actually revealed the true color of them, and they were just, they were closed off, so the fact that they weren't oxidized or turned colors or persuaded by the sun, and they were protected from that, gave us that true color, which is what the shingles are today.
One of the things that may surprise people is the garage here. It's an actual recreation of the garage that Henry designed for the house in 1921, and it was under a new owner. The garage that was actually sitting here, though, when we started work on the house, it was Henry's design, but it had the doors at the end rather than on the side here. And to fit a modern car, there was no way we could modify the garage and still keep it as a real Henry Greene building. So we decided to move the old garage off-site where it's been preserved and do a recreation, but turning the doors to accommodate 3 modern cars.
The structure behind us, secretly, us guys at HartmanBaldwin all call it the man cave, but the idea behind this building was an office for our clients. They wanted to be able to walk outside of that living space, be able to go into a space such as that to feel separated.
One of the fun things we did during the remodel was putting a time capsule in the house. So we took a tube and included the drawings for the house, some of the original photographs of the house, photographs of the work, some memorabilia that the clients wanted to include, and sealed that up and entombed it in one of the walls. I can tell you where it is, but I'd have to kill you. I think it turned out really well. I'm really happy with the result. It speaks to my love of the Greenes and their work.
It's been a lot of years, and it's still fun each and every day to be able to wake up and be a part of a project such as this with a company like this. So it's pretty amazing.
Just do mic test?
Yes, this is a test of the emergency broadcast system. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, run!